Lying on the floor on your back, first of all, notice your connection to the floor. Notice if there are differences between your right and left side, and particularly around your pelvis and your hip joints.
Yeah. Well, I feel stiffness right there.
Okay, so stiffness in the low back.
Yeah.
Particularly.
And there's some different, I can't even verbalize what the difference is. There is some difference.
Okay.
In how, I don't know if it's the weight or...
Mm-hmm. So now your knees are bent and your feet are flat on the floor and your feet are a comfortable distance apart, as are your knees. And just a little bit, take your sacrum, your low back, your lumbar spine down towards the floor, so more or less at your waistline, and then release it. And do that a few times, and notice which muscles seem to tighten when you do that. Which muscles do you use? Okay, so let that go now. Tighten your glutes. And use your glutes to help push your back down towards the floor. And notice how that feels. So can you feel how that's a different kind of a feeling than what you were doing? And our glutes are the most powerful muscles in our body, and they help to propel the pelvis into whatever position we want it to go into, and yet your tendency is not to use your glutes.
Okay, yeah.
So that right away tells you that you're using all of these other muscles whose job is more like the muscles in the front of you. Those muscles are called the flexors, and they're to help you go more into flexion in the front. So your back rounds and your shoulders and your pelvis come closer together. So it folds you in the front of your body.
Right.
Which is okay because that's sort of what we're doing. However, it's not really helping to lift your pelvis. So this time, don't use your glutes, just use your abdominal muscles and see if you can feel the difference.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's so funny that it's so much harder than I do have it. Yeah.
Well, it's all about habit,
it's
right?
not so much swing. Like when I use my glutes, I just felt like they just swing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, so now go back to using your glutes. Now pause. Now slightly tighten your abdominal wall, just slightly, and use your glutes again and notice what happens. Can you feel how that makes it harder too?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you do this, but chances are you probably do. Have your abdominal wall tight a lot of the time so that if it is and you're trying to use your glutes, again, it's going to be harder. Right? So now soften your abdominal wall, let your tummy be soft, and use your glutes again. Okay, now this time, start with your glutes, and then after your glutes have started the movement of taking your back towards the floor, then engage your abdominal muscles and pull them in so that it takes your back even closer to the floor. And notice how that is. Can you feel how that's even more powerful?
Mm-hmm. So
it's not about using one set of muscles and not using another. It's learning how to use them in an organized fashion that's going to give you the most for what you need.
Right.
So let that go for a moment and lengthen your legs. and rest. And see if you can feel any differences right now in your pelvis and your low back. Whether
my low back isn't hurting right now. It's often in stress because usually I just feel like it just puts so much stress on my back to lie flat. And I'm not feeling it right now.
So when you first were lying down, though, you did feel it, right?
Feel it,
yeah.
Did we do that? Like, I didn't see that much movement.
I know it's crazy.
Aren't I crazy? That's what I was going to say.
No, you're not crazy. I know it seems crazy, but it's not crazy because we're organizing your brain. We're organizing your nervous system. And the nervous system is always trying to keep you protected, keep you from falling, keep you supported. And if it doesn't feel the support, it will start sending signals of discomfort because you're not giving it the support it needs. As soon as you give it the support it needs, it's like a light switch. It's just on and off.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
It's that fast.
Okay.
So now bend your knees again, stand your feet, and once again, start to tighten your glutes and then begin to tighten your pelvis a little, or tighten your abs a little bit, so you feel your tailbone start to lift. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Do that a few times. If you keep tightening your abs, or pardon me, tightening your glutes, and your back goes down to the floor, keep lifting your pelvis up, and there's going to come a point where if you lift your pelvis up anymore and you're still engaging your abdominal muscles, it will stop the movement. So somewhere along the line you have to kind of let your belly expand so you can start going up into what we would in yoga call the bridge position. Tighten your glutes, tighten your abs, start to lift your pelvis up. Now somewhere about here, you start to let your belly go.
Right.
And then you lift more.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Now, when you come down, tighten your abs so that your back starts to go down towards the floor.
Okay.
There you go. Release your abs and then your glutes.
Okay.
And now you're back into a neutral position again. Okay, so try that again. So first, tighten your glutes, tighten your abs, start to come up. Now about here, release your abs so you puff out your belly, and you keep tightening your glutes though, and you lift, and now start tightening your abdominal wall a little bit, and then release your abdominal wall and release your glutes. Okay, so do that a number of times where and pause for a minute, just rest.
Okay.
When you're doing it, are you doing anything with your feet? So see what's happening. So don't deliberately do anything with your feet if you're not already.
Okay.
So just see what's going on with your feet.
Well, as soon as you said that, I realized I had my toes curled up.
Oh. Okay, so let's find out what happens. So really curl your toes, like do it deliberately, hold them like that, and do the same movement again. So tighten your glutes, tighten your abs, lift, release your abs, and then come back down, tightening your abs, and then release them, and then release your glutes. Okay, so you felt what that was like.
Yeah.
Now, release your toes, let them be soft, and tighten your glutes, tighten your abdominal wall, begin to lift your pelvis, let your tummy come forward, like that's it, so you lift a little bit more. Now, tighten your abs so you start coming down, that's it, and release your glutes, and rest. Okay, now, this time, as you start to tighten your glutes, push your feet away from you.
Oh, like how far? Like
no, don't slide them.
just like
you're pushing energetically.
Yeah.
Push the carpet, like you're trying to push the carpet away from you. But that's it. And come up.
I didn't really curl, I just went up that way.
There you go. And then come back down again. And release everything and rest a moment. And then do that movement again.
It's all right. Once I relax this, then I relax my feet. Everything.
Okay, now let's see if we can actually make it even more improved by doing something completely different.
Okay.
So now bring your knees up over your chest. So don't hold them. Don't hold them. Just bring them there. Keep your feet the same distance apart as your knees. So and let your ankles be soft.
Okay.
And now you're going to just let your pelvis go, and you're just going to bang your feet down on the floor. That's it. Okay. And then bring them up again. And release your hip joints and go bang. There we go. And bang. Can you feel how it kind of pops your pelvis up a little bit when your feet hit the floor? As they go down, your pelvis just doesn't really come off the floor so much, but it unweights itself for a second and then it settles. So do that again 3 more times. That's it. So really commit though, like not gently, like you're just bang. That's it, bang.
Feeling my teeth even.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Now tighten. So let's do it a little bit faster this time, the bridge thing. So before you do it, actually do it. Think about what you're going to do. You're going to tighten your glutes first, pushing through your feet, tighten your glutes, tighten your abs, come up, release your abdominal wall. As you continue to tighten your glutes more, it'll bring you up higher. Then you start to tighten your abdominal muscles as you very, very slowly begin to release your glutes until you're back down on the floor and everything is back in its resting position. Okay, so think about that 3 times before you actually, don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I did think about it, then I didn't do that. I'll think again.
So 3 times, go through it 3 times in your, no, don't do it. Don't do it. In your mind, in your kinesthetic imagination. You will feel little neural firings happening as you do it. It's like your body will try to do that movement.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it still.
Yeah.
It's hard to not
And don't worry about the neural firings are okay. That's the kinesthetic imagination at work. So it will happen, and that's a good thing that it's happening. Okay, and once you've done it 3 times in your imagination, then actually do the movement. And then come back down again. And notice the difference since you did the thing where you pushed your feet, or you let your feet go against the floor and just let everything go. Can you feel how now there's it's like the sequence has set itself in your brain so that it feels more, I don't know if natural is the word, more spontaneous maybe, that you can go up and down. Okay, let that go and lengthen your legs. And just see how that feels now.
It feels good.